How would you like to make your first million? And today we have an international best-selling author of the book, The $1 Million Decision, Robert, joining from Slovenia. So, Robert, tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend entrepreneurs in order to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Well, first, maybe you need to decide that you want to work hard to really make it, because a lot of people just wish, that they would like to achieve something, make a million or something, but they are not prepared to really do it. This takes a lot of hard work and determination. And you will see, you will get a lot of no's, and some people will say to you, you will never make it. Some people, when you will try to present your business idea, will say, no, this is not going to work. I will not buy it. And you need to go over this. You need to go over these hurdles, and you need to be determined to do it. Muhammad Ali once said that this is future history. You need to be so sure that you will do it, that it's already history for you. Mm-hmm. I'm already there, Mm-hmm. I just need to walk along the path and do it. But for me, it's already done.
Wow, that's an amazing step one. The son of Muhammad Ali is my personal friend. Muhammad Ali Jr. is my personal friend. I'm glad you mentioned Muhammad Ali. What a leader. Okay, so what would be the step 2?
Then you need to solve a real problem for people. So in order for your business to succeed, you need to solve a problem. And if you solve an important problem for people, then they will be prepared to pay for this. So, for example, Mike, I started in a student dorm from scratch, and my first business was making websites. So I was a web designer. I learned how to code a bit. That was a long time ago. That was in the 1990s.
It was a big demand.
I was young. Yes. I had nothing. My parents were poor, and I was in a student dorm, and I just, had these big dreams, how to succeed in life, how to create my own business. And then I saw this opportunity. I saw that a lot of business owners, they need to be online. Because this will be the next big thing, but they didn't know how. They didn't know how to build their website, and I was there to help them. I learned how to do it on my own, and then I created a company that provided this service. So this was my first business. And then every business that I went into, it was the same thing, I solved a very big problem. And currently I'm solving a very big problem for entrepreneurs, for busy professionals who want to invest their money very profitably. And I basically teach them how to do it.
Wow, that's amazing. And then, Robert, so you're a serial entrepreneur, right? More than one business. This is about to become very interesting. Okay, tell us the step number 3.
So then you need to build credibility. A lot of young entrepreneurs right now, they want to become some kind of influencer or whatever online. But being an influencer is not enough. You need to build credibility. You need to build trust. And this is what works in today's world. It's not being an influencer and being just funny and interesting and so on, but you need to build trust, because people will buy something from you if you are trustworthy, if you are credible. And this is something super important. So, for example, me personally, I'm not all over social media. I'm not like some kind of influencer or whatever, but people trust me, because what I say is credible, it's grounded, and so on, So you need to build credibility and authority.
And then?
This is the step 3.
Yeah. With 2 more left.
Then you need to learn how to sell. You need to learn how to sell. That was one of the biggest challenges for me when I started my business a couple of decades ago. I didn't know how to sell. I went, out and I started to offer my service to different entrepreneurs, but nobody bought. They were all, yeah, it's interesting. I will
Oh,
think about it, but
yeah,
nobody bought.
the best objection ever. Yeah, I'll think about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
they tell you so slowly that you don't even think that this is an objection. Yeah.
yeah. So they were interested, but nobody bought.
Mm,
And then I started to learn about how to about selling skills,
mm,
and I learned that selling is science. It has certain steps, that you need to take, or you need to certain phases you need to
mm.
go through in order to make a sale in the end.
And if you
So
change
it's a
the order, it doesn't
science.
work, right?
Yeah, it's a science. It's not an art. It's a science. And then I started to learn all about different phases, how to build trust when selling, how to close the sale, how to
Mhm.
present your product or service. I needed to learn all that stuff, and then I became really successful at selling. So
I can tell.
helped me to create a very profitable business.
So
So
yeah,
that was number four.
yeah, learning how to sell, right? Especially in
Yeah,
this 5 step, how to make your first million. Go to from
yeah, yeah,
0 to 1 million is a sales and marketing exercise.
yeah,
If you don't know how to, even if your product is not good, but you know how to sell and you know how to market the product, you will be able to reach the million, right, Robert? So what the fifth
yeah.
one?
You can. You need. So if you have an average product, then if you have better sales and marketing skills, this will give you an edge. But of course, it's better to have a really amazing product,
Absolutely.
and
The
you will be.
process,
You
it
will be
make sure you improve your product. Yeah.
always. I always strive to have the best possible product on the market, and then
Mhm.
it's easier to
Easy to
sell, of
sell.
course.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
And
because
the
you have a
five
lot of
step,
happy customers, you have a lot of testimonials, you have a lot of fans, that help you to promote your business. Yeah.
so
And
that,
then number five,
mhm.
number five, learn how to scale your business.
Oh,
One
very powerful.
challenge that I had with my first two businesses were that they were local businesses in my home country, Slovenia, and it's a very limited market.
Hmm.
And only later, when I realized that I will not be able to achieve my goals by just operating in this small market, I started to think differently, and I started to in my current business when I the investing business where I teach people how to invest very profitably. This is something that I do globally, and
Bigger
I do it.
market, bigger market, right?
Yeah, it's a big market and
The
it's
whole world.
online. Yeah, online, and it's very, very scalable.
Mm.
I can, right now I have, for example, 7,000 members, but
Wow.
even if I go to 20,000 members, I will not have, I don't know, 3 times more work. I will be able to maybe keep my workload the same or maybe just a bit
Mhm.
higher because it's a business where I can basically add members for a very, very marginal cost.
Yeah, scaling up. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
a good one. I remember Robert in my business. First business was in property, and I was doing rent to rent in London, and we managed to sell 5 million. But you had to expand, right? So I remember
yeah.
it was a process from 1 to 7 houses where I was doing everything by myself. And of course, we're very lucrative, and all the money comes to me. I don't have employees, I don't have anything. And then I say, well, let me expand. Yeah.
It's a mindset shift. You need to change
Yeah.
the
And
way
I
you
find a lot of
think about
surprises on
sales.
the way, Rob, because I didn't know any better about this expansion thing.
Yeah,
And it comes that now a completely different ball game because when you have the small business and you do it everything yourself and actually you're making good money, you have control of everything and all depend on you. Now scaling up, you have to change. I'll tell you a story. When I started to have my first employees, right? I had this mindset, I'm a big deal. I'm in this big entrepreneur. Everybody has to do what I say because I'm being my own boss, telling me what to do
yeah.
to myself. So if I have an employee, the minimum that I can do is tell them also what to do, right? And then when I scale up from 7 to 14 properties, a few things happens. Number one, I need to start to hire people, okay, and to do the. And I realized that now I have more tenants because before all the tenants can speak with me, want to speak with Harry. Well, when it reached to 177 tenants and all want to speak with me, I'm thinking these people are gonna kill me. Where am I gonna sleep? And then my team on this on the same part, they all want to speak with me, and the whole thing was growing. And I'm thinking, Robert, number one, I'm thinking number one, if you have a small mess and you span, all you're gonna span is a big mess. So you have to
Yeah.
tied up your
You need to
things.
have
Yeah.
systems, yeah, in place.
Yeah. I didn't know knew of this, So then I'm I before I keep expanding, I have to tied up, right? But also when you expand so fast and you don't know what you're doing. I remember it was a few in my company that we have like 177 tenants. I'm looking at the bank, I only have 10 pounds. And I had to open the door in the office, all the team, everybody working there. I had to smile everyone like everything is fine. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, what are these shots? If these people knew, if the clients knew and the employees knew and everybody knew that I'm taking a decision that expanding this too fast, and I was not aware about the cash flow thing. Luckily, it was a property business, and a lot of cash comes every day. But there were days that actually very scary. We're talking turning over a quarter million, half a million. Then you have one day that you only have 100 pounds in the bank account, and you're freaking out. So tell us in terms of scaling up, Robert, what was your biggest challenge? Because number one, you and I, we signed out to be entrepreneur. We signed out to design a product, learn how to sell, and set this product. This is what we're signing up for. And now we are realizing that if we want to expand, if we want to grow, now we need to become leaders and develop leadership in our organization. We didn't sign up for this. We signed up for being entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So tell us,
Yes.
what was the biggest challenge of you scaling up? I'm glad that you brought this as a fifth
Yeah.
step because it's important and you clearly know what you're talking about. So tell us in your journey, what was the biggest challenge, how you overcome it, what advice do you have for entrepreneurs that they are stuck in the scaling up process and they stay as a solo entrepreneur because they are scared?
Yeah. So for me, the challenge was that I was delivering my service or my courses in person. So I went to different countries. I had my preview seminars, then I had my weekend seminars, and it was very tiring and it was a lot of work, because you needed to go to every country.
Tell
Which
me about
countries?
it. Welcome to my
Yeah,
life.
it's a lot of work.
Doing speaking
It's
all over the world. Oh
whole
my
day
God,
speaking
yeah.
and so on.
I love it. It's a lot
Yeah,
of fun,
me
but
too.
yeah.
I loved it, but when you age,
Yeah.
you just cannot do as many things as when you were young.
And the
It's a
thing
fact
become
of
very
life.
intense, so many times
Yeah,
I'm
it
in
was too
Singapore,
intense.
they say you need to be in Mexico tomorrow, and then I'm stepping over in London, I cannot sleep in my own bed. I'm thinking this is
Yeah.
ridiculous, yo.
Yeah, and then you have a family. I have two kids, a wife. Yeah, it's it was tough. So at that time, then I decided to make a change and to start delivering everything online via online courses and via webinars, via online masterclasses, and so on. So now it's much because I am not. I need to be at
It's more
each country
scalable. It's more
separately. I
scalable.
didn't need to travel all the time. So it's more scalable, and it gives me much time to get my services, to improve my to customers better support and so on. So in the end, the service is better than it was before, and I have more free time.
And you look at business different, Rob, because I remember, my property business. I'm thinking when out of this expansion process, at the beginning, I'm thinking, okay, I'm expanding. And before you have the problem of 7 houses, and I'm thinking, okay, if you expand to 14 houses, what could happen? The problem is going to double. Well, the problem didn't double. These 7 houses are problem. The other 7 houses are all the problems. And the problem that these two elements combined create that I was not aware of, When you have 7 houses, you have a building and maintenance. So you have 14, you need the van with two buildings 24 by 7 because something breaks every day. And then your accounts become bigger. So now you need to pay more for accounts. And you start to need more things that when you were operating the small scale, you didn't need to. So, however, if you develop leadership in your organization, it went to the point one, Robert, that I one day I arrived to the office and my manager Eva told me, "Harry, go home. We don't need you. We can run this company without you." And it was an amazing feeling. I'm thinking, how put this off on the first place? Yeah,
Yeah.
this has happened because I was stuck in for a while, Robert, thinking this business, the more I expand, the more
Mm.
employees I have, the more tenants want to speak with me. I'm thinking, what's the point to expand this? Again, what I told you, if you have a small mess, you expand a big mess. And because I made the business all about me, when this thing keep growing, I'm thinking I to some improvement here because otherwise I won't be able to even sleep because my client they don't care. They to speak at 3 a.m. because it was a property business, they're renting a room, so if they're gonna bring a friend, they don't care. They will if they tell them Harry will talk to you 4 a.m. They will wait until 4 a.m. to talk to me. Harry, can you let me bring the friend to a room? Blah blah. So I knew there was someone called Harry. I was the only person that can allow that. So I have 24 by 7, all my tenants dying to speak with me. And I'm thinking these clients are going to kill me. When am I going to sleep? When am I going to eat? So scaling building processes and systems. And
And you need to be able
sounds
to
funny,
delegate,
but
and
when you are
you need to be able to trust other people.
Mhm.
Because entrepreneurs, we are sometimes like these control
Yes,
freaks,
yes.
and we don't let others do things that are good
Mm,
at. So yeah, you
yeah.
need to learn how
Robert,
to
look, is
delegate,
the ego.
trust
Look,
other employees.
let's start for this. Yeah. All I interview 500 millionaires in this podcast, right? These are the fundamental of the basis. All of us, we have a big ego. Otherwise we won't be entrepreneur. We think that we can do better,
Yeah.
right? So let's start from that. We think that we can do better. Yeah. So now this is good for you to start it. However, that ego, when scaling up,
Gets in a way
you need to
later.
de-scale the ego. You
Yeah.
need to become more. That's what happened to me, right? The more than I scaling, the more I'm thinking. You know what? It's actually the other way around. I had to develop leads into organization, and it's actually about me anymore. No big deal anyway. It's all about them. How about if they become the big deal right than me? What can I do to make that happen? And then you start to learn about leadership and things like this. But I have, Robert, a question that I'm so looking forward to ask you because we have a big debate in this podcast, and you are someone that tick all the boxes. Yeah. The we have been a big discussion here with the entrepreneur because a good entrepreneur not necessarily has to be a good investor.
Yeah.
In fact, they're completely different things, and we have a
Yeah.
lot of entrepreneurs that they work really hard for years, and then something happened. COVID happened. A dramatic change in technology happened. Then they go out of business. They go to zero straight away because in the last
Yeah.
6 months, they taking all the money, all the mortgage, everything, all the money they make to pour that into that business that is
Yeah.
it's just get outdated. A new technology came around. The market situation changed. COVID or whatever happened, and then those entrepreneurs that have worked so hard for 5, 10 years, build that, they'll go to zero in the bank account, and it's not fair. So
Yeah.
we want all the entrepreneurs to be healthy, wealthy, and happy. So in that process,
Yeah.
entrepreneurs not only need to make how to make money, okay,
Mm.
they are
Yeah.
very good on that, but keeping in the money, this second part, they need to start to learn to become a good investor. Otherwise, they won't be able to keep the money. And this is the truth. So I have a theory that I discussing with all the investors that come to this podcast. They actually did a lot. What if, Robert, I am an entrepreneur. I start in a business, okay? And I start to make some money. And after I make this money, I take this money and I invest, let's suppose, in a house, in a property, or in a stock that pay me dividends, in some kind of vehicle that can give me monthly income. Then this monthly income, I can use it for marketing. Then I can grow my company. Then maybe buy a little bit more assets, get more cash flow, use this money for marketing and sales. Guess what happened? Something wrong happened. COVID comes, something comes, whatever happens. In the meantime, you're learning how to become a good investor. Okay.
Yeah.
And wherever something happens, you are more secure because you have asset to producing money. Sad story that we hear is that entrepreneurs exit for so many millions, they have so much money, and because they don't know how to invest, a friend come, listen, you're not gonna believe you have this huge return. This property is gonna kill it. Give me a few millions, and they go to zero. And
Yeah.
we don't want any entrepreneur listening this podcast or any entrepreneur in the world to go
Yeah.
um, to that space. So I'm so glad that you're teaching people how to invest. And you tell me, right, what are the fundamentals and break it down for the entrepreneurs that, or what is your opinion in my statement that a good entrepreneur not necessarily is a good investor. However, in my opinion, a good investor always is a good entrepreneur. You see people that come to tech businesses looking for funding, talking with the investors, and they're looking at the investor, they think investors are stupid. The problem with the investor because they built the company before you and exited before you, and they know
Yeah.
10x what you know, and they're pitching, no, if you give me this money, I'm gonna build this, and the investor looking at that and said, these people think we're stupid. So tell us, Robert, when do you realize it yourself that in order to keep your money, you have to become a good investor?
Yeah. My first lesson, or maybe my first learning point, was that when I started to make quite a lot of money in my business, at first I was totally financially illiterate. I didn't have a clue about personal finance and investing. So
Me
I
too,
trusted,
by the way.
yeah.
Me too.
So I
We
trusted
all been
financial
there.
advisors and
Welcome to my
bankers
life.
and gurus,
How are we gonna know?
And yeah, we
We
didn't
didn't
learn
sign
about
up
that,
for this. We know to have a pro to sell it to make the money like
Yeah, yeah.
this. We don't have, it's totally different thing, right?
Yeah. So at that time, I said, okay, I will trust my financial advisors and bankers and gurus and so on. And after years and years and years of doing that and giving them all my business profits, or almost a part of my business profits, my wife had a conversation, and she said, Robert, I know that you trust these guys, but maybe just check what is the status of all these investments now. And I ordered all these account statements. And when the envelopes arrived, it was like, what? Are there some zeros missing? Money
Wow.
that I worked hard to earn was mostly gone. And that was, the start of the darkest period of my life. I lost my motivation to work. I was devastated. And at that moment, I was lucky that I realized that I need to take control of my money and my investments. You cannot trust financial advisors, bankers with your money, because my interest or our interests and their interests are not aligned. They care about making a commission of your money, and we would like to get great returns. So this doesn't fit. And when I realized that, I started to learn all there is about investing, personal finance, and I realized that the financial industry is not on our side when it comes to investing our money. And after years and years and years of learning, and talking with financial industry insiders and getting to know all this information, behind the scenes of the financial industry and so on, I finally started to make my own investments into low cost. I only invested in very, very low commission products. I was not into, for example, mutual funds or other products like this that have huge commissions. But I started to invest in low cost index funds. These are basically big baskets of stocks, but you only pay a very, very commission when you do that. And when I started to invest on my own, all of a sudden, the investment returns that I was starting to make were really amazing.
Attractive.
And
Wow.
I was able to get my investments back on track, and that was the beginning of my journey in financial education, in investment education.
That's an
It was
amazing
really
story, Robert, because
yeah,
I mean, it's like we are entrepreneurs, and it's not about that we shouldn't trust financial advisors or anything like this. Some of them are good, some of them, however,
yeah. Some of them are good, but
some of them are
a
good.
lot of them are also
However,
not.
us as entrepreneurs, we need
Yeah.
to know
You need
first.
to learn.
We
You need
need
to
to know
understand
first
what you
because
are
when it
investing
comes to
into.
your
Yeah,
business, Robert, I remember,
yeah,
for you to succeed, you didn't know how to sell, you went there and learned how to
yeah,
sell. You didn't know how to do
yeah,
this, and you went there and learned. But then
yeah,
I understand because we good entrepreneurs and we are no good investors. We don't know what this is an science for us entrepreneurs.
yeah,
We say, you know what? Maybe that part. Let me bring experts. Let me bring the people that stay there, right? And this is going to be difficult for me to learn anyway. It's finance numbers and anything. Let me hand it over to the experts. And I have a similar, I have a story, when I started my first business, it was in property, right? And I hired an accountant. I need an accountant because everybody needs an accountant to fight the taxes. So the
yeah.
guy is there, said me, don't worry, at the end of the year, you send me the numbers. I go there and send the number to the guy. The guy sent me back a huge tax bill. And I'm thinking, if I pay this tax, I'm going out of business. How is it possible? I said, I don't have any clue about business, but how is it possible that I grow this company with 7 houses, that I make these sales, that I have my costs, and this huge tax is coming? If I pay this tax because I'm going out of business, this doesn't make sense. I'm thinking, and I don't have any clue about accounting. And I'm thinking, I'm saying,
And
how
yeah,
come? And then I spoke with him. I said, look, I think that this tax is a little bit high. And then his answer was, he was in Canada, work for a good, well-educated accountant. He told me, Harry, I already reviewed your account twice. This is how much you have to pay, and that's the end of it. This is business. And I'm like, I remember last day of the year, New Year's Eve, everybody celebrating, and I'm inside one office learning myself something that I actually don't like, which is this tax and accounting and this.
mm,
I'm learning about okay, what is a profit, what is an income, what is the overheads, what is this, what is a cost of sales, and I find out after the whole 2 nights with not sleeping, because the statement was quite large, that the accountant was putting the deposits as sales. So you might, when you rent the room, you get 1 month
crazy.
deposit. So, but the deposit is not sales. If you count it as sales, I have to pay double income. You know what I mean? And I didn't have any clue. So I'm reading all these accounts and again, I said, this doesn't make logic sense to me. And this guy that been doing it all his life is telling me this is what it is. And it doesn't make sense because I'm thinking if whole business have to pay this tax with this amount of sales or whatever, nobody will succeed in business. And this number doesn't make sense to me. I don't know anything about accounts, but I have common sense, right? So the whole
Yeah,
point,
and when it
Robert,
comes to investing, it's one of the biggest
I had
learning
to learn
lessons
it.
that
We had
I
to
had.
learn it as an entrepreneur. If we like it or we don't like it, we need to know
Yeah.
at least the basics. At least we can instruct because
And the thing
I
is,
bet now if you have a financial advisor that comes to you and say, hold on a minute, hold on there. What product you offering me? What is the risk? How is gonna be my return? How you
and
operate? You will ask so many questions that the guy say, you know what? Actually, he's better than me. The
yeah, and the
financial
thing is,
advisor, the
that
financial advisor
investing
will
is
tell
really
you, well, can I work with you? Understand? Yeah.
and the thing
So
is that investing is really simple. It's the financial industry that works hard to make it complex. And when you realize
yeah,
that,
they use all
everything
those
changes.
terms. They use
So
all
you
those
don't
terms.
need to you don't need to spend 5 years learning how to invest. It's very simple. If you are a long-term investor, and entrepreneurs, we should be long-term investors. We are not speculators. We don't want to make a lot of money overnight when it comes to investing, because this is not possible. But investing is very simple. You just need to keep the costs low. of your investments, and you need to invest in the best possible opportunities like the stock market or maybe the digital assets that are very popular right now, and they will become even more popular in the future because the United States it's finally on the digital assets and so on. So you need to
bottom line, Robert. Bottom line, doesn't
keep
matter
the
how much
costs
money
low.
you make. It doesn't matter how much money you make if you don't learn how to become a good
Financially
investor,
literate.
financial literacy, you taking a huge risk to your life. That would be accurate. What's your opinion about that statement?
Yeah, definitely. If you only invest in your business, of course, this is risky. At first, when you are starting your business, of course, put everything you have in your business until you start to make money. But when you start to make quite a lot of money, then you need to diversify. You need to put some of that profits into safe long-term investments like stock
There is
index
always
funds.
risk. There is when you
Yeah,
invest your money, but there is a
that's
level of risk
yeah,
that you can diversify, you can mitigate, right?
that's
Every
right.
time you
That's right.
invest the money, right? And for us, it's difficult to let it go, Robert, because we are used to have our business, have 100% on everything. Even the money that we receive, we reinvest it in marketing, we get an amazing return. So with our own business, we are amazing investors when we control 100% of everything. However, when we go to diversify and we're going to explore different vehicles that somebody else is under control of somebody else, now is when we need to learn how to diversify, how to mitigate your risks, and also it's more scalable, right? Because you can know when you if you have a portfolio
Yeah,
of
it's
investment.
for yourself and for your family, because if something happens to your business, you know that you have some kind of a safety net
Absolutely,
behind.
absolutely. You can. So money is we want, like I said, we want all the entrepreneurs to be healthy, wealthy, and happy. They work really hard. They take most of the risk. Society and communities of the entrepreneur. On top of that, we are the biggest risks. We're a huge risk. At this, I learned also in my life as an entrepreneur. You go to a bank, they don't want to give you a mortgage. They give you the mortgage to my employees. They don't want to give it to me. They tell me, no, Harry, because you're a high risk. I am a high risk. I employ these people that you give the mortgage very easy. Say no, because they can find another job. But if you lose your business, who's gonna pay us? I'm like, man, we taking hit from the society, from the bank, the financial, the employees, and everything. And we until the sale happen, society doesn't move, and you need entrepreneurs for that. How so? It's fair that they are well rewarded for the job and the risk that they have been taken, like everyone else. The problem with the entrepreneurs is that we need to find our own solution for everything. No one give us anything back to us. We had to find out this is who we are, entrepreneurs, right? So probably the yeah, sometimes things that you don't know, right? um, you can at the beginning, Robert. Yeah, because for example, Robert, how long took all those zeros to disappear out of the account? Yeah, and because sometimes you be so busy with the business that who cares? This is there, somebody else is taking care.
Yeah.
And because we don't have financial literacy, we should be fine. The rate, the big banks, the big names, so it should be everything fine. So how long took for you to have this bad? I know sometimes the worst day of your life become the best day of your life. I get it.
Yeah,
That is
that's
that
correct.
is
And
upsetting.
that was
It's
what happened for me,
upsetting that you work so hard building a business, growing it, exit, whatever, have some capital that nobody have any clue how difficult and challenging is to build that. And then,
Yeah,
like all business, is not everybody's, well, 90% fail. Let's start from that. Just in the 0 to 1 million, just in that part, 90% are gone. So now you're 10% left, and then you have to compete with everybody else and so on. So so how long it took when you had setback, and how you become these adversities? I know it's tough when things you make it by yourself. Well, you make it by yourself. No, we are responsible for everything because we are entrepreneur. We have nobody else to blame, unfortunately.
yeah.
So,
So
but
yeah,
how you overcome the adversity? How you overcome the adversity when things tough moment like this, because psychologically, we have to keep our mindset on the right state of mind, because our success is our mind. And this negative emotion, Robert, can end up in the emotional pain, can end up in physical pain. You can end up with cancer, with a heart attack, drinking, taking drugs. Very dangerous when things
Yeah.
doesn't go on our way and we are entrepreneurs. So how you overcome that particular adversity, that challenge?
Yeah, so it took me a couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 years, to get out of that depression phase when I lost, when I realized that I lost all that money. But I was lucky that I was working with Brian Tracy at that time. I don't know if you know Brian Tracy. He's a very famous author and
Who doesn't know
speaker.
Brian Tracy?
Everybody knows him. So he
Absolutely.
was my good friend, and
Ah, really?
yeah,
Wow.
I organized 3 events with him here in
Wow.
Slovenia, in my country. So
Wow.
we were very good friends, and we were working together. And fortunately, when I lost all that money, we already had our third event with him,
Mm-hmm.
and we already signed an agreement with him. So after the event, I asked him if we can go for a dinner because I had these big challenges, and I told him all about my problems at this dinner. And then Brian Tracy said something that really completely changed my life. Robert, it doesn't matter how much you earn. All that matters is if you have the skills to manage your money and to invest it. And at that moment, I realized I don't have these skills. I blindly trust the financial industry. So at that moment, I made perhaps the most important decision of my life. I will become one of the most financially literate people in this world, no matter what. And that
Wow.
was the beginning of my. I started to learn about investing, about personal finance. I read more than 300 books. I attended best events in the world about this. I talked with a lot of financial industry insiders, and that was this change in my life that also led to change in my career.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And what you do?
that most people don't have the same problems as I had. They are trusting some kind of
All
financial experts.
entrepreneurs. Let's
Yeah, they are
start for all
investing
entrepreneurs going from 0 to 1.
yeah, they are
Uh,
investing in bad financial products and so on. And then I realized, I need to get this word out. I need to start teaching people how to invest properly, how to invest
and the good thing about it, entrepreneurs like to learn from entrepreneurs. Yeah.
yeah,
we are a breed, So
yeah.
the Robert, so tell us a little bit more about if someone is in love with this conversation, yeah. I want to know more about you. How can you help them? What type of vehicles you're working with? They invest in stocks, do they pay dividends, or is it real estate? So what type of vehicles
Yeah.
they have you to explore with you, right? And tell us a little bit
Mhm.
more about where to buy your books, some
Mhm.
resources. Can you share with us?
Yeah, sure. So we are investing in different, for example, stocks, the stock market, of course. Then we invest also in digital assets like Bitcoin and some other big infrastructure crypto projects. Of course, you need to have a little as a safety, not for gains, but for safety. Maybe later in life, maybe something into bonds. So you need to have a very good. It needs to be passive. Okay, because you don't have time to manage this thing all the time and so on. So we are and long-term investors, and the best starting point how to learn more about this and how to learn how to avoid all these traps that the financial industry set up for us. The best first step would be to go to my website, robertrolih.com. So it's Robert and then Rolih. This is my surname, .com. And register for my free masterclass. It's a 90-minute free masterclass, and it's really, really super. I teach all about long-term investing, how to lower the commissions and fees that you are paying, how to get really great returns with your investments. I teach about what are the biggest free opportunities I see right now for long-term investors. and what is the most important chart in the investing world that can automatically basically double or triple your long-term returns. So this is my free masterclass, and this would be the best starting point.
That's fantastic, Robert. And thank you so much for joining the broadcast. I think that we are spreading that it's a skill. That I'm glad that Brian Tensi shared that word with you, skill, because the good news about skill is that anyone can do it. It's like riding a bicycle or driving a car. The more you practice, the better you become. This is you don't need the talent. All you need is skills. And if you put some practice with small amounts, learning how to do due diligence, be careful with crypto because it's very volatile, and things that are very little, you start to learn and learn and learn. Eventually we develop skills. And guess what? Once you learn how to ride a bicycle or to drive a car or to swim, that's it. You have this skill for life. It doesn't. You just need to practice it. Okay. So, and I'm also, Robert, that you make life career out of this because we know as entrepreneurs that the most of entrepreneurs that successfully exit, they go to this dark, unknown space. What am I gonna do with my money? And if you haven't practiced enough, you can have an accident. You can fall off your bicycle. You can crash your car. You can drown because you don't know how to swim properly. And in order to avoid an accident, little by little, develop skill and find people that are things that have common sense. Okay. Because sometimes you see like I said, nothing wrong with financial advisors. Some are very good. Some are very, so, again, they work, they need to make money, they make commissions, the structure of the company. We can know, all it's in our hands is to take responsibility and learn. And when the financial advisor comes, you can have an honest conversation with the financial advisor and tell them, look, I think that this vehicle you're proposing to me doesn't really work. It doesn't really work. It's amazing for you.
So you can
tell them, look, this thing you're proposing is amazing for you. It's great, but it doesn't work for me. Let me explain you why it doesn't work for me. And when you have something with these numbers, come to see me. We might have a future here. But you know what I mean? So thank you so much, Robert. And for all of you following the Unstoppable podcast, see you in our next episode, how brave entrepreneurs like Robert break the wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with the world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.